Okay, gang, I got to admit I love this stuff. Lesson 66. We're simplifying radical expressions, which is this bar, and square roots of large numbers. So I do remember, though, I think when I was learning some of this, I believe that was when my mom hired my first tutor, because I didn't get it. I hope that doesn't scare you. I hope it just makes you feel better, because you're going to get it today and you're going to be shocked that I didn't get it, and that means you too can become a math teacher when you grow up. I know it's on all of your guys' top 3. It's in your top 3 of what you would like to be when you grow up. So just letting you know, chance is still there for you. Okay, we're going to look at it. It says, recall that the square root of 50 can be simplified into the square root of 25 times 2. And then 25 is one of our nice perfect squares. So it can come out, pull out the square root of 25, which is 5, comes out, we're left with 2. There's your review. All right, now we're going to look at, we're going to do that, we're going to simplify something like this. Square root of 8 minus square root of 50 plus square root of 98. Now, we definitely cannot just put 8 minus 50 plus 98 under a radical sign. We have to do what we did up here and then see if anyone has the same thing underneath the radical. I'll just show rather than keep talking. So, square root of 8, well, we know 4 goes into 8 perfectly, and that's a perfect square. So 4 times 2, and I'm going to show you down here that 4 comes out, and square root of 4 is 2. So this square root of 8 simplifies to 2 root 2. Now we're going to do minus 50, which is, like we just did up here, 5 root 2. We can look up here if you've forgotten why. Now 98. This one's a toughie. Maybe just get used to when you see 98, if you can ever remember that it's 49 times 2, it will help a lot. Because that might not come to mind. That's going to be tricky. So anyway, 98 is square root of 49, is 49 times 2. So we take the square root of 49, pull it out, and that's 7. All right. Now looky here. This is so exciting. We have a 2 under everybody's radical. So that means they are all like terms. So because they all have the square root of 2. So all we have to do, I don't know if this makes sense to you, where I have 2 minus 5 plus 7. It just means you do 2 root 2's minus 5 root 2's plus 7 root 2's. So in your head you do 2 minus 5 is negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4 root 2's. Okay, so that's how we're doing these. Let's go ahead and simplify. Example, square root of 18 plus square root of 8. Now I say to fill in the blanks. Back in the olden days when I didn't make videos of this, or I wasn't there with you, or my students, they didn't necessarily know that's what these boxes meant, so I had to write it. Anyhow, square root of 18, what goes in here? Something times 2. So we're taking this one, is here, square root 18. So yes, you guys are sharp. I'm sure you all wrote 9. 9 times 2 is 18. And then square root of 8, is up here too if you got totally stuck. But that's 4 times 2. All right. And now we can take that another step. We can pull that 9. Take the square root of it, which is 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. And notice I keep bringing that plus down. Don't forget. And then 3 plus 2 is 5 radical 2. And there you have it. Okay. See? Is any part of you enjoying this at all? I sure hope so. All right, now we have simplifying 8 times the square root of, or 8 root 27 minus 3 times the square root of 75. All right, so there's a lot of boxes, a lot of stuff going on. So 8, what we got to do here is figure out what goes into 27 that's a perfect square. Well, yes, it's 8. It's 9 times 3. Good job. Okay, then we'll take care of this. What perfect square goes into 75. Well, and if you ever deal with something that reminds you of quarters and dollars, then 25. So there are 3 quarters and 75 cents. So 3 times 25 goes in here. All right. So now that 9 under the radical comes out, and we got 3, and the 5 comes out. Now you're gonna get good at this and probably skip this step. You might, when you pull that 3 out, don't forget to multiply it by the 8. So what that gives us is 24 radical 3, and then 15 radical 3, and voila, we've got like terms. We have both radicals are 3, so that's nice. So we're doing 24 minus 15, and that will be 9 radical 3. All right, I hope you're catching on to this and you are enjoying it as much as I am every second. It's so fun. If you're not, I'll pray for you, because this is pretty fun. I mean, seriously, what else could you be doing right now? So much fun. I know. All those other options you had, I don't know, playing, watching a movie, whatever, all those just pale in comparison to the fun we're having, right? All right, good answer. All right, whoa, now we've got square root of 27 minus 3 times the square root of 18 minus 6 times the square root of 45. So we've got some simplifying to do. I guess I wrote the exact same thing right here. I just rewrote it. All right, so we're going to take that square root of 27 is the same. We've done this as the square root of 9 times 3. And then the square root of 18 is 9 times 2. Can you see my little 9? And the square root of 45, well, sorry, yeah, the square root of 45 can be broken down to 9 as a perfect square. Goes into 45. So there we go. We got everybody broken down into parts. And now we look at, take out that 3. And we take out another 3. And then we take out another 3. Oh, look at that. We have a bunch of 3s that came out. 9, 9, and 9. Okay. And so that simplifies to 3 root 3. 9 minus 9 root 2 minus 18 root 5. And none of those are like terms. So the final answer is 3 root 3 minus 9 root 2 minus 18 root 5. And that's okay. This may make you uncomfortable because you're a purist and you like it when things simplify and tighten up, but it didn't happen on this one. That's all right. Take a deep breath and let's move on. Okay, now we're switching gears and going to be simplifying big square roots, big radicals. All right. Whoa, I can't even read that. Looks like fill in blanks. I don't know. I probably did this in the middle of the night when I do a lot of my work. So this was a few years ago. Can't tell you what was going on, but it was probably late. I can't guarantee that. All right, so we're going to take 50,000. And whenever you have thousands, especially 10,000s, if you all know that 10,000 is a perfect square. 1,000 is not. I don't know if maybe let me tell you this for a minute. Here's a little note. Okay. 10 squared is 100. Right? 100 squared is 10,000. Okay. 1,000 squared would give us 6 zeros, is 1,000,000. So I want you to notice something. These are all perfect squares, right? These are all perfect squares. Yay, we like those. And the one thing about perfect squares is they have an even number of zeros. We've got 2 zeros, we've got 4 zeros, we've got 6 zeros. You can't have an odd number and get a perfect square root. All right, So there is no, so what we're saying then is that 1,000 doesn't have, we couldn't just get a perfect, there's no perfect square root of 1,000. There's no perfect square, it's going to be a reduced radical. It's not going to be a perfect square root. All right, I hope that meant something to you. Rewind and watch over and over and over again until it does. No, just kidding, you can call me. Okay, or email me. My daughter was saying that it's funny that I say call or email because sometimes I put these on YouTube and those people do not know how to call me, and that's okay. That would be too many people if they ever watch my videos, and you are the lucky ones in my class at Simplification, so you should feel honored. All right, so all the way back to 50,000. Now we just talked about 10,000 right here being a perfect square. So I'm going to pull 10,000 out and multiply it by 5. The nice thing about that is the square root of 10,000, remember back up here, is 100. So we can pull out 100. So our answer is 100 root 5. All right, that was because we had an even number of zeros here. What happened here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, not a perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not perfect. So what I was saying here is that's the same as 100,000 times 5, right? But that doesn't work. That's not going to help us simplify because 100,000 has 5 zeros and it's an odd number, blah, blah, blah. And just so you can really see it in my notes, sad face. But we have a solution. So we're going to turn that into a happy face. All right, instead we're going to take 500,000 and take out, look at this, instead of a 5 times 100,000, we're going to take 50 and multiply it by 10,000, because now we've got our even numbered zeros there. All right, so what that means is now we can take, that's the same as 100 times the square root of 50. Now we're not done though, because we, in the past, now know that square root of 50 can be simplified. So I'm going to do that. That's 100 times square root of 50. So that can be simplified to 25 times 2. And we know that 25 is a perfect square. So that's the same as 100 times 5 times the square root of 2. So what we get is 500 root 2 is the final answer on that. These are tricky and different. So, oh good, there's another 2 examples that we get to work through, okay? So I really want you to stop, slow down, rewind, watch it over if you're totally in the dark, okay? I learned how to crochet something new this weekend. I know now I sound like really old lady. I'm actually not that old if you're watching on YouTube. Crochet is coming back. It's cool. I'm a young, hip, I don't know, what am I, 25? Anyway, you'll never know. So, okay, now we're going to simplify 40 million. Square root of 40 million. So again, we have 7 zeros, so that's not going to work to just take the 4 out. We're going to have to take a 40 out, so 40 million is the same as 1 million times 40. And 1 million, the square root of 1 million is 3 zeros, 1,000, okay? And then 1,000 keeps coming down, is the same as 4 times 10. So that 4, square root of 4 is 2, so it's 1,000 times 2. So our final answer is 2,000 square root 10. Okay, now we are on to probably, oh, no, maybe. I thought they would give us another odd number one, but let's see. 6, 8 zeros. So anytime we've got an even number of zeros, we're lucky. 8 zeros, there it is. So that's just 100 million times 7. And you don't even need to know I don't know how you don't get to use a calculator, so how do you know what the square root of 100 million is? Well, like I said, if there are 8 zeros, the square root of it is a 1 with 4 zeros. All right, and then 7 doesn't have a square root, so there we go. 10,000 square root of 7. Okay, you get to practice these on your practice. And letter C, I might just give you a heads up. How many zeros? I see 7 zeros, so that's going to be the one that takes a little bit more brain power. It's going to be a lot like example 6 and example 5. Okay, and then these two. So have fun with these.